If you feel like push-ups are too easy, you're not getting a whole lot of benefit from them, you don't feel your upper body and your abs working, or worse yet, your push-ups look like this or this, and they're incredibly uncomfortable, and maybe they make your shoulders sore, and you're not getting the gains that you want out of them. Well, if that's you, then chances are you're missing this one key thing that can up the difficulty of push-ups, but not only that, it allows you to access ranges of motion that you might not be able to otherwise, which can make push-ups more comfortable, and they can actually improve your shoulder mobility. What is that one thing? Well, if you notice when you're doing push-ups and you see this happening with your hand, then you got to stay tuned. You see, your hand tenting up in a push-up and your fingers gripping the ground is limiting a key movement during push-ups, and that is internal rotation. Internal rotation has to happen through the humerus and through the forearm, which is called pronation. In order for this internal rotation to occur, you have to have the front of the thorax expand. This is called the pump handle action. When it expands, it increases the space within your body to move downward towards the ground. So your hand has to stay flat in order for internal rotation to occur. This causes pronation to happen in the hand, which creates internal rotation up the arm. Guess what? If you end up tenting your hand up and you press your fingers down, you're limiting that internal rotation from occurring. So then your body has to do a lot of funky stuff to make up for that, whether that's jutting the head forward when you're doing a push-up, or perhaps sagging through the trunk. All of those are ways your body works around an internal rotation deficit. The easiest way to beef up your push-up game and make them more comfortable is to ensure that your hand can stay flat at all times. The way that it happens is by getting heavy through 2 points on the hand. The first is the wiggly bone on your hand. This is called the pisiform. And the second point is the base of the index finger, or the head of the metacarpal phalangeal joint. Heaviness through these 2 points allows the arch of the hand to flatten, which can increase your internal rotation capabilities. But you have to make sure that you don't cheat through the elbow and the shoulder to get it. If you are someone who ends up spinning your elbows out when you are doing those hand contacts, chances are you lack the internal rotation mobility in the first place. You have 2 options if that's you. The first could be simply doing a push-up with a neutral grip position. Here, this limits the amount of internal rotation needed to be expressed in a push-up. There's some keys that you want with this. Our hand contacts are going to shift. Instead of the pisiform and the base of the index finger, it's now going to be the pisiform and the base of the wrist. And as you're doing that and you're gripping an object, whether it's these parallettes or some dumbbells, you want to make sure that the knuckles stay pointing towards the ground. A lot of times when people are doing these types of push-ups, they'll end up spinning the wrist out into extension. This is going to limit the internal rotation that needs to be expressed, but maybe you just don't want workarounds. Maybe you actually want to improve your mobility so you can do good old regular push-ups. For that, you might want to try this arm bar screwdriver exercise. What you're going to do is you're going to lie on your back, make sure you look to the horizon. If I'm going to do the right arm, I want my right leg to be straight. I'm going to make sure the knuckles are pointing towards the ceiling, and I'm going to contact the kettlebell in this case through those 2 points, the base of the wrist and the pisiform. I'm going to have my knuckles kind of in a fist bump position. I'm going to silently breathe in through the nose, soft exhale, and slowly reach the kettlebell up towards the ceiling. You don't have to reach all the way. You want it to be subtle and at the pace of the exhale. From here, you're going to hold this position. Inhale, think about turning through the elbow. So your elbow is facing the wall in this case, or my foot. That's going to be like in a handshake position. Exhale, bring it back to the start without sagging the shoulder blade down. You want to be careful of common screw-ups that happen with this move. A lot of times people will end up turning excessively through the forearm. This actually limits the amount of motion that will be gained through the arm because most of the action is happening at the forearm, not at the humerus. You'll want to perform 5 sets of 5 breaths. Remember, on the inhale, you want to go handshake position. On the exhale, you want to go knuckle position. I would be doing this a couple times a day, and it's a great warm-up before you do push-ups. Big keys, push-ups require internal rotation and anterior thorax expansion. That can only happen if the hand can stay flat. If it doesn't, then you either have to work on your technique with that or you have to improve your internal rotation capabilities. Now, if you're someone who has a really slouched posture and rounded shoulders, you may struggle with that drill that I had shown you. And you might need something else to improve your shoulder mobility so push-ups can be more comfortable. For that, I'd check out this video right here where I go in deep in terms of why rounded shoulders happen, as well as provide you some exercises so you can improve mobility so that way you can make your push-ups amazing.